Hi, my name is Dan, and this video is for my Glory Days blog. And today I want to talk about some of the gear and equipment that I'll carry on my body, primarily in my life jacket. If I should become, for some strange reason, separated from my kayak, I want to make sure that I've still got some emergency communication gear with me so that I can be rescued, and some basic safety items so that I'll be able to survive for a day or two on my own if I get separated from all my other equipment. Well, let's take a look at that now. So the life jacket that I've chosen is the NRS Sea Vest. It's specifically designed for recreational sea kayakers, recreational boats with a high seat back, kayaks primarily, I believe. And a couple of the unique features that it has a mesh back and a high flotation so that your backrest doesn't interfere with that, and you don't have a big bunch of padding behind you in the seat backrest. But one of the primary features that I bought this vest for were these two front pockets, and they're designed for your VHF marine radio to fit right in there and be easily accessible, and you can lash it right on. As they say, handiest pocket on a shirt. But I found these pockets to be really handy for other items as well. I have my little waterproof camera in the other pocket. I have two big pockets on either side, and I've decided that I'm going to use this pocket for my GPS. When I don't have it out on the deck and using it, I can stick it right in there, and instead of tethering my GPS to the kayak deck like I used to, I'll now have that tethered right onto my life jacket, so that at any time if I become separated from the kayak, it's going to come with me. I also have another large pocket on the other side, and that's where I put my cell phone. Now, I also used to tether my cell phone onto my kayak deck and just put it under the deck bungees, which was fine, but then if I become separated from the kayak, I don't have my phone anymore, and that's probably going to be one of my most valuable tools and forms of communication besides my marine radio. I got my whistle lashed on here too. That's always a good thing to have. Lots of little pockets in places. I've got a knife on this side, and this knife just comes right out and unclips. The one thing I don't really care for with this knife is that it does tend to just come right out. I could lose that if I'm not careful. It's in there pretty good, but it's not 100%. I don't really like that. So on the other side, I've got a little the Buck Light knife, folding lock blade, a handy little knife. It's very sharp, and it's lashed right onto one of the lash tabs. Fits in a handy little pocket right there, built into almost into the shoulder strap. And then of course you can see I've got my action camera on here. Another lash tab, and it just got this little gator clip, very strong, right on there. And I'm not very good with the video camera yet, but I'm still working on that. I'm not set on having it in this spot all the time. My arms get in front of the camera when I'm paddling, but it's one option. It does keep it with me, and it's kind of handy and easy to operate right there. I find that when it's on my deck, it's a little cumbersome. I can't see it as well, and it's a little harder to work with. I just need to get more experience with that. So there you can see I've got 2 knives, 2 cameras, cell phone, a radio. I've even got room for a couple power bars or a small pair of gloves or something like that. Normally I'm wearing my paddling gloves because my hands blister if I don't on a long day, but that keeps, the whistle, it keeps a lot of basic safety gear and communication devices right on my body, right with me. Another thing that I've started doing just recently is to have a water bladder, and I actually put this on and then put my life jacket on over top of it, and with the high back and the mesh on this sea vest, it works beautifully. It doesn't interfere at all. I hardly even know that the bladder is there, and then whenever I need a drink, it's right there. It's handy. Get a drink whenever I need it. Stay hydrated. Super important, especially when you're out on the water, on the river. You're going to be in the sun most of the time. If the river's very big, you probably won't be in the shade, and at least a lot of times on the Mississippi, I won't have much shade when I'm on the water, so you have to stay hydrated. So that's most of what I'll be actually wearing, besides a paddling jacket and some standard things, water shoes, that type of stuff. Not very technical. Other equipment that I'll be carrying with me, it doesn't have to pack inside of the kayak itself, under the watertight hatches. I have a paddle float, very important, essential piece of safety equipment. If you are out in the middle of nowhere, miles from shore, and you overturn your kayak and you can't roll back up, super handy. Bilge pump, gotta have that too if you flip over. Spray skirts, of course. You gotta have a spray skirt, keep the water out. And then, of course, I have to have my paddle and a spare paddle. I'll go up here on the deck. Now, one other thing I wanted to mention in this video, I forgot, I did a video, my very first video was on how I'm gonna pack my kayak. And so this is just my second video. I forgot to mention, if you watch that first video, I've got this kayak packed just crammed full of all my gear and equipment in little bitty dry bags and Ziploc bags and different things, and some of it doesn't have to be watertight, but they're almost all in small bags, small dry bags, or small bags of some sort to keep everything organized. The big bags that I use for canoeing, they just won't work. I've got a bunch of big bags. Like here's one to see if it works as a backpack. It's really handy in a canoe, but it's not worth a whole lot. A bag like this, it just won't go in and out of these hatches on the kayak. Even a bag this size. And this is a Seal Line dry bag. It's wonderful. This is a C30. Wonderful bag. I love it. It's great. You can see through it, so I know what's in it. I don't have to label the bag or worry about what did I put in that bag this time. Just doesn't work though. Doesn't work on this size of a kayak. And very durable, strong material, but it sticks. It doesn't slide well on this plastic to plastic, and they get a little bit warm out in the sun, and they just stick to each other. The thin nylon dry bags, they slip in and out of here just wonderfully, and the compartments on these kayaks are not absolutely watertight, but they keep 99% of the water out most of the time. And that's a big issue, it's a big worry, then you don't have to worry about like when you're in an open boat. Not going to ship water, not going to get splashed inside of there or anything like that. So those thin nylon bags, they're lighter, they're easier to load in and out, and it really keeps everything organized really well. So that's pretty much all the gear I'm going to take on my body and carry with me. And if you have another comment, you have an idea or a trick or a tip you'd like to tell me, something you see that I'm missing, please let me know. Leave me a comment, send me an email. I'll be glad to respond and even make another video to address those issues, because I'm just learning and hope you get something out of this too. Thanks.